Inside, it's time for the 2023 women's gymnastics season to begin. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Scott Beatty along with Amanda Wihanko. We are at Huff Hall in Champaign on the campus of the University of Illinois, and the season opener for the Missouri Tigers and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Missouri comes in with a preseason ranking of number 9, their highest ever as a program, after a sensational 5th place finish in nationals last year. And for Illinois, a number 23 ranking. They finished in the regionals last year and ended on a very good note with their highest score of the season. So here we go for 2023. Amanda, it's always a little bit of extra juice when you get to debut your season here.
Yes, for sure. And, this is the first meet for both teams, but, Illinois is also starting off their season at home, which is always nice for them. So I think both teams are just very excited to get things rolling, kind of see how their lineups are doing, how the routines are going to end up doing, and, kind of take this as an important first step for the rest of the season and how they can grow and what they can do from here.
One of the things head coach Natalie Walsh for Illinois told us is this is a deeper team, so not only is today about establishing all those things you just mentioned, but hey, there's some competition for anybody who wants to be in the lineup on a regular basis, because there's somebody else who's not in the lineup today that wants to be in.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's always good to have depth. Although you may have set lineups or things as the season goes on, you may have established, certain people in certain spots, certain events. There's always going to be competition, healthy competition within the team, and pushing each other to make that lineup. And get yourself in, if you were in an exhibition last week, maybe you're going to try to prove yourself to make that actual lineup and get a score that may count in the future.
For the Missouri Tigers, a note, they are without Amari Celestine, who did not travel with the Tigers. An All-American last year in the vaults and in the floor, and a national runner-up individually in vault last year. So that's a key loss for them. For Illinois, they're all about the two Mias here, Mia Towns and Mia Takakawa. And of course, Mia Takakawa made a lot of notoriety for herself with a perfect 10 last year.
Yes, for sure. The Mias are pretty well known in the gymnastics world collegiately for Illinois. They're definitely two to watch, and especially after representing Illinois at nationals last year. That, I believe, was the first time at nationals for both of them. So really taking that under their belt and kind of pushing forward to make it to nationals as a team and with their entire team.
Meanwhile, for Missouri, they do have an all-arounder in Sienna Schreiber here, and Jocelyn Moore, who finished very strong as a regular season All-American last year. So maybe without one of their stars, but this is a deep team that is trying to go even further than what they did last year.
Yes, definitely. Although they may be without Amari, they've lost some routines, some people from last year. They still have all their postseason routines. I think one thing to take from Mizzou's season last year is not to count them out.
Absolutely. Their head coach is Shannon Welker. He's in his 10th season now, previously an assistant in the Big Ten at Michigan, and went to school and competed at the University of Illinois at Chicago. For Illinois, their head coach, Natalie Walsh, now in her 5th season. Her previous stop was at Utah State. The two all-arounders for Illinois today will be Abby Miller and Mia Takakawa. Abby Miller, the junior, and Natalie Walsh calls her the glue of this orange and blue team.
Oh, for sure. I think Abby had an outstanding season last year. She started off as the leadoff on beam and floor, proved that she was a very solid competitor, and she's been able to move herself further down into those lineups and prove that she is capable of getting those higher scores.
And we just talked about Mia Takakawa. Of course, the perfect 10 on the beam, but she is an all-arounder, and she has one of the team records for a total score. So she can compete very well in all 4 events.
Yes, definitely. She's definitely capable of hitting some great routines on every single event. And, like you did mention, she did reestablish that Illini all-around program score which I believe was previously held by Gianna O'Connor just a couple of years ago. So to see, these new Illini gymnasts from the past few years come in and reset those scores and push the boundaries of Illini gymnastics is great.
Well, there's also bragging rights on the line. These two athletic programs, not just the gymnastics, but the two schools try to compete in as many head-to-heads as they can each year, and they keep track. And if you haven't, well, soccer won for Illinois. The two basketball teams split. Men went to Missouri, women went to Illinois. So this is the fourth head-to-head matchup of the year for two teams from Illinois and Missouri. So if you're keeping track, Missouri trying to even up the score, which is currently in favor of Illinois 2-1. Women's tennis will go head-to-head later in the year, and in the spring, baseball and softball will each play one-off midweek games with each other. But you were talking to me before this that there's been a lot of news and notes coming out of the gymnastics world in college. We may get into that as we get to the vault here, and slight change in the lineup. And not too shabby of a start for Mia Takakawa. She will try to set the tone for 2023 to lead off for Illinois on the vault. And you're right off to her right is one of her coaches as well, Natalie Walsh, the head coach for Illinois, assisted by Caitlin Betts and Ross Thompson, and Jada Glenn is the volunteers. So Illinois is the home host. Will start on vault. Mizzou will be on the bars. And Mia Takakawa, now a senior from Sacramento, California, will wait to lead us off. Named a Big Ten gymnast to watch for 2023. Was going to be Aaliyah Byrne initially to lead off for Illinois. A last-minute switch. So Byrne will do an exhibition vault later. Here goes Takakawa.
Overall, good vault for Mia. Good start for the Illini. I saw a bit of leg separation in the air, had a hop back, but overall, not too much to deduct, and a good start.
Well, they went to their leader to get things going for Illinois. Natalie Walsh said this is a happy and healthy team this year. They've avoided injury thus far. Now here's Abby Miller in an all-around for Illinois as well. Junior out of Rochester, Minnesota.
Meanwhile, it looks like Mizzou did start with a fall on bars.
And we've got Sienna Schreiber, was the first to compete in all-arounder. Here's Miller.
Another nice Yurchenko full for the Illini. Again, just some leg separation in the air, small hop back, but overall solid and good first competition routine for Abby of the season.
So 2 in for Illinois on the vault side while Mizzou competes on the uneven bars. Big Ten Plus here, bringing you the first women's gymnastics competition of the season. I'm going to go to Mizzou. Holland Patrick.
A bit short on that handstand for Patrick, while Schreiber looks like she got a 9.125 on bars. And looks like Patrick had a bit of a problem with her release. She caught it and needed to take a few swings. So had a bit of a break there, so Mizzou probably really looking to kind of reset from here on out and shake it off and get those hits coming in. Nice double layout dismount though, just a small step. So it is an improvement from Mizzou's first routine, and we've got Ilinois on vault. Just a step back.
All right, that's Mia Towns.
That actually is not Mia Towns. It's Michaela Green.
Oh, my mistake. I had thought we had advanced already to the fourth vault for Ilinois, but that's third, Michaela Green.
Yeah, it's moving pretty quickly here over at Huff Hall.
Green, the New Jersey sophomore, was injured last year, so really that was her first vault.
Yeah.
And there's high expectations. And here's Mia Towns. And as we said at the outset, the two Mias are key for Illinois. Well, for Missouri, Addison Lawrence preparing. Actually on the uneven bars.
Looks like Michaela Green got a 9.775 for her collegiate debut, which is a good start.
Towns has been announced. And the best vaulter for Illinois. Here she goes for 2023.
And she does the 1.5, which is a 10.0 vault. Illinois will be glad to have that under their belt. She did have a bit of form breaks in the air. Her hips and her knees were a bit bent, but overall, you know, I think it's great for Illinois to have that 10.0, and hopefully they'll start adding more to the lineup.
With 14th in the nation last year at nationals individually. Meanwhile, Mizzou with high fives all around for Addison Lawrence in her routine on the uneven.
And I believe Holland Patrick got a 9.225 for her bar routine, so it is an improvement. We didn't really get to see much of Addison Lawrence's routine, but just based on the reaction from her teammates that we did get to see, I would guess that it's going better for Mizzou.
Next up, Ariel Ward. Injured, coming off an injury, but has come back fast. Very confident gymnast.
Nice Yurchenko full from Ariel. And she's actually a freshman from Texas, so this would be her collegiate debut.
And to the bars, Alyssa Sharameta, I beg your pardon, Circleville, New York. She is a grad student and initially started her collegiate career at University of Illinois, Chicago, coincidentally her head coach's alma mater.
Yes, so Alyssa did transfer to Mizzou after UIC unfortunately disbanded its gymnastics programs, but she's been fortunate to find a home at Mizzou, and she's doing great so far. Beautiful lines. And just a small, tiny step back on her twisting dismount, but her lines were great and her form looked phenomenal.
And now we see Araya Simons, senior from Georgia, and was a second-team All-Big Ten gymnast last year.
Yurchenko full for Simons. Looked like she just had a small step back. Overall, good solid start. Always room to improve, but you know, it is the first meet of the season, and I think that vault went well for the Illini, and they're going to be pleased with that start.
So all 6 vaults in the books for Illinois, and 5 of them will count. There will be 2 more exhibition vaults for Illinois, and especially early in the season, head coaches want to get in as many exhibition routines as possible. And here's Jocelyn Moore, one of the key members of this Missouri team that finished 5th in the country last year. Career high 9.850 for Jocelyn Moore, sophomore from Hillsborough, New Jersey. Really good in vault, but she's competing as well in bars and floor exercise.
Looks like Mizzou's just waiting for the judges to finish up Sharametta score. Sharametta got a 9.775. So more will be up soon. Meanwhile, Illinois is onto their exhibitions on vault.
And this is Aaliyah Byrne, who was a last-minute swap into the exhibition spot, making her freshman debut out of Frisco, Texas. And there is a lot of good gymnastics in the state of Texas.
There sure is.
Both the Dallas and Houston areas, a lot of young gymnasts, both men and women, train there. Aaliyah Byrne gets a chance.
Yep, pretty good. Just a step back for the most part. It's the biggest thing. And it's good that she's able to, though her score is not going to count towards the team, able to get her foot wet and get some experience as she is a newcomer.
Mia Towns for Illinois, by the way, did register a 9.90 in her vault for Illinois. And we'll get you total scores when they get in. You're watching Jocelyn Moore from Missouri.
Tkachev right down to the low bar. Prepping for her dismount. I believe that's a full in, and she fought for that stuff.
Competed in all 13 meets last year, mostly in vault and floor exercise, but adding bars to her mix as well. So all 5 scores that will count, all 5 athletes that are competing in uneven have turned in theirs uneven competition. And we've got a couple of exhibitions left for Mizzou.
Actually, we've got Helen Hu as the last.
Oh, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon.
For Mizzou,
yes, 6.
And then they will move into their exhibitions.
I did take note. I was like, well, I didn't think Helen Hu would be an exhibition as a senior, competing here in her home state. She's from Chicago and attended the Latin School of Chicago.
Looks like Illinois is done with their vaults. Just one exhibition, so on to Helen on bars. Beautiful handstand right into that pike to Tkachev, straight down to the low bar. Really loving her toe point. Just prepping for that dismount. She's really nailing these handstands. Blind full into a double back, and she sticks it. I know it looks like she had a bit of a trouble with her dismount during warm-ups before the meet, so it's great to see that she was able to pull that together and nail that dismount.
So Helen Hu, the Chicago native, a very solid anchor performance on the uneven bars for the Mizzou Tigers, ranked number 9 in the country. And the first events with scores that will be counted are done. One more exhibition left for Mizzou. Home opener, season opener for Illinois here at Huff Hall. They train in Kenny Gym on the north end of campus and compete here in Huff Hall. Also the home for the Illinois volleyball program, and was until recently the home for Illinois wrestling. They now do their competitions in the State Farm Center, where basketball also plays, and they're slated to get a new training home as well.
Looks like Helen Hu got an amazing 9.925 on bars, so that's definitely the highlight for them as Alana Kratzer goes up for her exhibition on bars.
Sophomore from Suwanee, Georgia.
Bit short on that handstand. Blind full into a double back. Pretty large hop there, but overall good experience for her. I know she struggled a bit with her bar routine and warm-ups, so to see her be able to put that routine together and hit it is great to see.
So one rotation is complete here for 2023 and the first match of the season. I'm Scott Beatty along with Amanda Wihanko. Thanks for joining us here on Big Ten Plus. And it's been a full weekend already in women's college gymnastics.
It sure has. I think the biggest meets of this opening weekend is definitely the Super 16 out in Vegas with, I believe, 4 sessions that just concluded last night with Michigan, Auburn, UCLA, and Michigan. So that was, a pretty high caliber meet to open the season with, and it already felt like postseason watching that meet.
Well, there's very good gymnastics, and the conferences you mentioned, Pac-12 historically has had very good gymnastics, and so has the SEC.
For sure.
And the SEC has some high energy meets, and then the Big Ten, you just mentioned Michigan, and there's several others as well that have eyes on not only winning in their conference, but winning at the national level.
Definitely. All 4 teams already reached 197, which is, amazing. Those are scores that, for the most part, teams are typically getting in March, April, with the exception of those super high caliber teams.
Missouri will move to the vault and Illinois to the uneven bars. And we're ready for second rotation. Last year, the Tigers went 11-4 overall and 3-4 in the SEC. They ended up 6th in the SEC championships, but 5th in the nationals. Really caught fire. Illinois went 5-3 overall, 2-3 in the Big Ten. Had an 8th place finish in the Big Ten, and 19th overall in the country. It was really about the Mias last year, and in particular, Mia Takakawa was the headliner for Illinois. This year, it's about adding depth for
sure.
the Illini.
Yeah. So for Illinois to have that depth is really helpful for them. Although they did lose a few gymnasts, they are keeping from last year. Rachel Borden and Mallory Mizuki have returned for 5th season. So those are 2 other key competitors for Illinois that they're grateful to have soon.
Arielle Ward kicking off the second rotation, and this will be her final event of the meet. And again, confident and fearless is the word in from Natalie Walsh. She just finishes a
just warming up.
Yep. By the way, today's meet also dedicated to mental health and suicide prevention. So it's lots of in-meet promotions and kind of PSAs dedicated to that as well, which is so important these days. And I think it's come to the forefront in college athletics in the last year or two, but has always been there as an issue, but finally getting the attention it deserves.
And I believe Illinois just announced that they are dedicating their season to mental health, so I think that's fantastic and very important to raise awareness to not only the collegiate audience, but also, a lot of their fans here and just in gymnastics overall are pretty young. So to kind of reiterate that message of it's okay to not be okay, your mental health is just as important as your physical health, especially in a sport like gymnastics, which can be so mentally taxing. It's great to see that from the Illini.
And the sport is so, this is a team atmosphere, and they work hard to create environments of positivity and encouragement, but just the sport itself is an individual sport. And you're being, quote, judged, and there's points, and it can all come at you quick as a young person.
Yeah, for sure. And just, these girls have done the sport for so many years, so, they've got the muscle memory in for pretty much all of their skills that they're doing, so really it's about getting that mentality in. And I think that's really come to light in gymnastics overall, especially with Simone Biles in the Olympics a few years ago. So really, really great to see that from them.
We're in Champaign for the season opener between Illinois and Missouri. Illinois will next be on the road for a few meets. We'll go down to Tucson, Arizona, and compete against the Wildcats of Arizona, and then they are on to Rutgers before coming home for Nebraska. Big Five will be on February 24th. Always a major event in conference.
Determines their place at Big Ten championships in terms of when they compete and who they compete with.
Yep. Big Ten championships in March 18th. It's a quick season for gymnastics. By April, you're often into nationals. Touch period has concluded. Missouri will vault first with Addison Lawrence. While Illinois to the bars with Ariel Ward.
Got Ariel Ward starting her bar routine. Nice handstand to start. Looks like she's going into her release. Straddle Jaeger down to the low bar. She did have a bit flexed feet on that release, so we'd like to see that be cleaned up as the season goes on. But really right now I think for her, just making it through this routine and just a small hop on her dismount. A good start for the Illini on bars.
Ariel Ward, very promising ceiling for her. Missouri, this is Mackenzie Petrelli.
Yurchenko full. Pretty large hop back, but you know, a good leadoff vault for Mizzou.
Correction, I think I'm told that was Sydney Schaefer, who was initially in the exhibition but moved up to the leadoff spot.
Ariel Ward starting things off for Illinois very well on bars with a 9.825.
Solid score there.
Yes, definitely. 9.8s are a great place to start, and those are really the scores you want to be seeing.
Obviously, in gymnastics, a 10 is perfect if you're unfamiliar, but anything kind of 9.8 and above is from good to great.
Yeah, definitely.
In that range.
Especially at the start of the season where we're, just getting things started. And then typically you'll want to see those scores increase as the season goes on and the gymnasts fine-tune the routines, work on the details, things like that.
Second rotation and second athletes in the lineup for these rotations. Illinois preparing for Rachel Borden. And Mackenzie Patricelli will go for Missouri on vault.
Yurchenko full. Looks like her chest was a bit low on the landing and a hop back, but again, solid score, solid vault rather, for Mizzou. Looks like we're ready to go on bars with Rachel Borden.
Shout out a Naperville native,
Yes.
along with yours truly. She competed in all 13 meets last year.
Straddled Jaeger, right down to the low bar. Nice handstand. And into her Rudy dismount, I believe. I'm not good at counting twists, but she stuck that landing, and they're very happy about that.
Had a career high last year of 9.875. Rachel Borden happy with what 2023 has materialized with so far.
Yes. And I think it's safe to say that she will near her career high of 9.875 based on how Ariel Ward scored before her.
Hannah McCrary is a grad student and vaulting now for Mizzou.
Another Yurchenko full, large hop back and then hopped a little bit while saluting. Bit of a college salute there, but she got great distance, and I think she's going to really want to try to hone in that power as the season goes on, but to start, it was good.
They look to her a little more for beam and floor, but she's got vault in the mix. You mentioned her at the top of the broadcast. Mallory Mizuki is back for Illinois, the Shelby Township, Michigan product.
Yes, I believe she redshirted her first year, so her freshman year. So she has that eligibility left still, and it's great to see her taking it.
Natalie Walsh, head coach for Illinois, told us her leadership as a fifth year is key.
Ooh, caught that pike Jaeger a bit close, but managing through the rest of her routine. Guess the dismount left for Mallory. Blind full into a double tuck, and that's another Illinois stuck dismount.
All smiles from Mallory Mizuki, the senior for Illinois, with a very good uneven bars performance. Over to vault, Sienna Schreiber, the all-arounder.
Another Yurchenko full for them. Small hop back. So we're seeing, I think we've seen 4, I believe, Yurchenko fulls from Mizzou. And we'll see if they get any 10-0 start value vaults in this latter half of their lineup. Mizuki got the score board says 9.885, but that's not a score that is possible. So looks like the judges will need to re-show that score before we can get started with the rest of bars.
When we do resume, Michaela Green will be the competitor for Illinois.
So it's a 9.85 for Mallory, and now we are ready for Michaela Green to go on bars. Nice first handstand into a Maloney. Looks like right back down to the low bar, pack salto. Struggled a bit there, getting to handstand, but she fought through it and just has the dismount left. A bit short on that handstand and the full turn, but just a small hop, or step rather, on her double tuck dismount. But overall, good routine. She fought through with a bit of struggle she had, and I think this has a lot of potential as the season goes on, and she works on fine-tuning her routine.
So 2 events in for Michaela Green. She'll also compete on beam. And to the vault, Grace Ann Davis for Missouri, sophomore from Alabama.
Oh, She took a bit of a step back and then put her feet back together on her 1.5 there. That would be the first 1.5 from Mizzou.
Mia Takakawa. Second event for her as an all-arounder.
Beautiful handstand. Pike Jaeger. Going down to the low bar. Overall, great form so far from Mia, as usual. Andy going into her dismount. Double layout. Stop. Very good routine for Mia.
Wow, from Mia Takakawa. A lot of power, too, in whipping around before the dismount.
Yeah, double layout, not an easy dismount. She reined it in like it was nothing. And she gets the stick. Or rather the promotional bubblegum, I believe it is. Looks like Mizzou just finished up on vault.
Yeah, Jocelyn Moore finished for Missouri there.
Didn't get to really see it, but the reaction from both the audience and her teammates was very good. So I imagine it went very well.
Illinois has one more left for the uneven bars. It'll be Olivia O'Donnell. In-state product from Evanston, Illinois. A high school there also with orange and blue in the color scheme.
Straddle Jaeger right down to the low bar.
Team voted her the unsung hero last year.
Blind full to double tuck. Again, out just a small step forward on the dismount, but a really beautiful routine from Olivia.
Exhibition time for Missouri. Addison Lawrence.
Solid vault, had some form issues in the air, bent knees and at the hips a bit, but you know, solid exhibition vault.
Competed in the bars and exhibition there in vault in her collegiate debut, Addison Lawrence. Now we'll get a look at Aurea Simons for Illinois. Going with an exhibition here. And an all Big team, all Big Tenner last year, second team all Big Ten. Actually won a floor title against Mizzou a few years ago.
It looks like she was a bit close on her Tkachev, but still managed to make it down to the low bar right after. She's a bit short on a few of her handstands, but you know, I think this is a great experience for her, since she knows she's got, you know, some of those smaller things to work on to move her way into the lineup if she is able to do those things and kind of see where the judges would score her at from there.
We'll also see Abby Miller. Now, Miller is competing for the all-around.
Yes. She is competing all 4 events, but since this is an exhibition bars routine, it won't be counting towards her all-around score or the team's score. But again, just another position to get experience. It looks like Simon's got a 9.575 on her exhibition, so that'll give the coaches and Aurea a good idea of where to go from there. Straddle Jaeger. Down to the low bar. Just the dismount left for Abby. Double layout, and she sticks it. This isn't typically an event Abby does, so it's great to see her go out there and get that experience. Potentially make her way to the lineup, or just be a backup if God forbid there are injuries, illnesses, what have you. Be good for Illinois to know that they can rely on Abby on bars as well, as she has been a reliable gymnast on the other events, as she's shown in the past.
Second rotation done for both teams. You see Illinois circled up, and that's assistant coach Caitlin Betts really leading the circle there. Natalie Walsh in the white jacket. Now throwing in her insight. And Ross Thompson is in his first year as an assistant for Illinois. He was a male gymnast here, and a good one.
Yes, I remember Ross when he competed here on the men's team. Those are times at Illinois did overlap.
Illinois to the beam, and Missouri to the floor. We'll come back with our third event in just a moment on Big Ten Plus.
touch period is now over. Starting on the beam for University of Illinois, Abby Miller.
Welcome back into our third rotation for Illinois and Missouri. Illinois with a slight advantage over Mizzou, 98-325. Mizzou 97-625 after vault and uneven bars complete. I'm Scott Beatty with Amanda Wihanko. We're at Huff Hall in Champaign. And when we resume here on the beam, Illinois will have Abby Miller, and Missouri on the floor will have Sienna Schreiber. Schreiber competing for the all-around. Miller is competing in all four events, but not all are for
of her
competition.
scores can
Yeah,
count,
for scores. Yeah, the scores that count. One for exhibition.
Well, while Sienna is waiting for floor, we've got Abby starting over on beam, leading off, which is typically where she was in the lineup last season. Solid full turn. Back handspring, and she's off on the layout step out. Looks like she was just slightly crooked after that back handspring, and unfortunately just had to jump off that beam. Which is unfortunate because Abby's typically a very reliable, solid gymnast, so that's uncharacteristic. But she's back up on the beam, hit her leap series, and it's like nothing happened. Looks like she hesitated on doing that connection, so going to repeat that beat jump to front toss. Good move from Abby to make sure she gets that connection. Prepping for her dismount. Round off, and fights for that stick.
Abby Miller, she'll want better for the future.
Yeah, for sure.
On beam, especially to compete all around.
You can see she's a little disappointed, like I said before. That's uncharacteristic of her. She's typically been a very solid, reliable gymnast, and that's typically what you want from your leadoff, and especially at the start of the season.
Here's Sienna Schreiber for Mizzou. Beam is her strongest event, but she goes all around.
Into her first pass here. I believe that's a Rudy. Back layout to a split jump. Minimizing those landing deductions by going straight into that jump. Second pass. Very similar to her first. Looks like she's favors front tumbling. Switch leaps. And she just has a 2-pass routine. She meets all the requirements, so that's good to go. That was a solid start for Mizzou on floor.
Co-regional gymnast of the year last year, Sienna Schreiber. First meet of 2023 here in Champaign. First meet for both Missouri and Illinois. Next on floor will be Casey Pottage. And Illinois will continue on the beam here in third rotation.
Got Mallory starting on beam in the second position after Abby Miller got a 9.225, so the Illini will want to drop that score.
Mallory Mizuki.
Looks like she was a little bit over on her full turn, but covered it up relatively well. Going into her acro series, back handspring, layout step out. Same series from Miller, but Mizuki was able to stay on. Switch split to straddle. Hitch kick, side aerial. Bit of a balance check there. Split jump, straddle. From this angle, I want to say she's a bit shy of the 180 that you want to see on those leaps. Going into her dismount. Pike gainer, stuck. A good comeback for the Illini on beam from Mallory.
A fifth-year veteran. And again, providing some leadership there for Illinois. Giving a solid score for the second routine. This is Missouri. AC Pottig here. Also say competing in state. She's from Edwardsville on the Illinois side of the Mississippi, across from St. Louis. So part of the St. Louis metro area, competing in Missouri.
Front full to back layout step out. Was a little crooked there, pretty close to going out of bounds. Ideally, we'll want to see the gymnast tumble right from one corner to the next and go in a complete straight line. So that is something the judges will take into consideration when scoring her routine. Double pike, stuck.
She knows it.
Yep, and her teammates are right there, cheer her on and dance along with her. Good leaps.
This is her college debut.
I think Floor's a great event 2 debut, and she did a great job as well.
Would not have looked at that and said, well, there's a green freshman.
For sure. She looks like she's been doing this for years, which, I mean, she has, but, you know, college gymnastics is, you know, a different story and a different situation. So it's great to see her get used to that so quickly, so it seems.
Third up on beam, Rachel Borden has competed in the bars today.
Yep, so we've got the 2 fifth years back-to-back here on beam for Illinois. Rachel's known for her beam. It's basically what got her on the team. She's covering up that balance check there on that front aerial, turning sideways. Looks like she's going to repeat it. Because, yeah, it goes into her acro series, so she needs that connection to get that 10.0 start value. But, yeah, she's looking a little shaky here, which, you know, is understandable first meet of the season. But she's staying on, and that's really the key takeaway here that you always want to be doing, no matter what event, what position you're in the lineup. Beat jump, sheep jump. Covering up a little wobble there as well. Sheep jump is a very difficult skill. You lose sight of the beam completely. Just the dismount left. Front full, hop forward. And, you know, not Rachel's best routine, but she stayed on, and I think that is the most important thing here for Illinois at the start of their season.
So Rachel Borden, the chemical engineering graduate, is in the books on the beam. Alana Kratzer on floor for Missouri. Competed in nationals last year in the floor.
Double tuck, first pass, and she's got a lot of distance there from the corner, so maybe we'll see her upgrade that to a tucked full in as the season goes on. But yeah, she's got a lot of power and dynamic tumbling. Good extension on those leaps.
At least going off the last year or two, Missouri's strengths have been on floor and beam.
Yes.
So as we go into these final two rotations, it's into the wheelhouse of Missouri.
Yep, these are the two events where they could look to kind of close the gap between them and Illinois. Nice second pass from Alana. Last pass. Double pike. Pretty low on that landing. Would like to see her chest and her head up more, but she made it all the way around. And, that might just be an endurance thing. It's the start of the season, and they, aren't entirely used to doing these full floor routines, 1.5 minutes dancing, tumbling on this hard floor, since it is only the first meet. So.
Halfway through the competitors on this rotation. Fourth up for Illinois on beam, Michaela Green.
Going into Hacker series, back handspring, layout step out again. Another little turn to the side, balance check there.
Tomorrow she turns 19.
What a nice, way to celebrate your birthday. Opening the 2023 gymnastics season.
And it's been a long time coming. Did not compete last year due to injury.
Yep.
Natalie Walsh's word about her, powerful. Very strong gymnast.
Beat jump into a side aerial. A bit shaky there as well. I was hanging on. Getting ready for her dismount. Round off. Up, hop forward on that.
Still, from nothing last year to 3 events here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a great journey for her.
Absolutely. I'm sure Natalie Walsh and the entire Illini team are great to be able to have her in lineups.
Alyssa Sharameda.
Going into her first pass. I'm not good at counting twists. I believe that was 2.5. Just a step forward, which they are allowed to take. It was controlled, so there should be no deductions for that.
Sharameda competed on the floor all 13 meets last year for Mizzou.
Yes, I even remember when she was at UIC. She was also great on floor there, so sure that Mizzou is great. Mizzou's glad to have her in their floor lineups. Beautiful layout step out on that pass. Definitely a twister. She's got twisting elements in both of her passes so far.
Right behind her, her head coach, Shannon Welker.
Last pass. Another layout step-up pass. I believe a front full layout step-out or front 1.5. But yeah, great routine overall for Alyssa. Another hit floor routine for Mizzou.
Alyssa Sharameda from Circleville, New York. And 4 down for Mizzou on floor. Back to beam and Mia Towns, one of the 2 Mias. Mia has been named a finalist for the Coach Wooden Citizenship Cup. It's not sports specific. It's been a while since Illinois had anyone named a finalist for that.
Starting with a switch split to a straddle. Looking confident there, even though just a few skills in, which is great to see. Hitch kick, front toss, brings up that leg. That is a balance check, and relatively sizable balance check, but she stayed on. Back handspring, step out. Full turn. Just the dismount left for Mia. Tuck full stop.
Mia Towns from Pflugerville, Texas. The penultimate routine on beam for Illinois here. We're in our third rotation. Illinois in a slight advantage points-wise. Two squads tied in vault at 49.05. A bit of an advantage on bars for Illinois by a half point. 7/10, in fact, on bars. Watching Hannah McCrary.
First pass, front layout to, I believe, either a 1.5 or a half. Great extension on those leaps as well as amplitude. Next pass. Double pike. She was a bit under-rotated, so she had to hop forward, so that'll be a deduction, but overall, pretty good. Competed
nationally on the floor in 2021 at the national championships. And is all smiles here for her season debut as a grad student. Hannah McCrary for Mizzou. And they have only Jocelyn Moore remaining on the floor. The anchor for Illinois on beam, Mia Takakawa. Posted her second career perfect 10 last season on the beam.
Side aerial, up, handspring, step out. So far looking just as we expect to see from Mia on beam.
Owns the top 3 all-time scores in Illinois history on beam.
Another switch split straddle combo. Back handspring gainer full, stuck dismount from Mia. So an excellent routine from Takakawa, as we have come to expect.
Well done to round off Illinois' time on beam. They will have 2 more competitors on exhibition. And now the finale on floor for Mizzou is with Jocelyn Moore. And this is her event. Not to take away for what she can do on vault.
First pass. Double layout, huge.
Fist pump there from Shannon Welker, the 10th year coach at Mizzou.
Triple leap combo there.
Almost a little bit of a swagger in her routine.
Yep, for sure. Tuck through to a double pike. And that's a very powerful, good routine from Jocelyn.
Has a career best of 9.95 and puts in a solid performance here. So all 6 competitors are done. We go to exhibition now on beam. And from the UK, Amelia Knight.
Yep, so Amelia started off with a candlestick mount. I'd like to see her be a bit straighter on that and holding that position before she continues on with the rest of her routine. A bit short on the 180 degrees that the judges want to see on those leaps.
Amelia is a junior.
Side aerial back handspring, a bit crooked on that back handspring, but she was able to adjust. Beat jump. Looks like she was going to connect it, but is going to redo that. Into a side sami. Questionable connection there. Full turn. Gainer full off the side.
Stuck dismount for Amelia Knight in exhibition. Illinois will have 1 more to go. Rituja Nataraj. And this for Mizzou is Sydney Schaefer. Schaefer competed in vault. He's the only one that took a score.
Front 1.5 to back layout step out. Ring leap to switch split. Double tuck, and she's a little bit under-rotated on that, which caused her to step forward. Want to see her head and her chest up more and fully finish that rotation so she doesn't have to take that step forward. solid exhibition.
Sydney Schaefer wrapping it up for Mizzou.
Up next on the team for Illinois,
Rutuja Nataraj from Wallingford, Connecticut.
Back handspring, lay out and step out. I think she had a bit of form issues in the air. I think her legs were bent, but angle was a bit cut off. Switch split, straddle.
See, her left ankle is wrapped, which may be contributing to her on exhibition today. She was voted Freshman of the Year last year by the team.
Beat jump front aerial.
She competed this summer as well in the FIG World Challenge Cup and the Asian Championships.
She did. She got to represent India, I believe. So that was great to see Illinois represented on the international stage, particularly on the women's side, which doesn't happen too often, unlike, with the men who are typically competing internationally at the college level. That was a good exhibition beam routine for Rutu.
Rutuja Nataraj finishes up Illinois' time on beam. And these two teams are, very close as we go into final rotation. Illinois 146.975, Mizzou 146.900. Mizzou is strong on beam, Amanda, and floor is typically a good scoring event for any team.
Yeah, I mean, typically as long as you go out on floor and, don't have any major deductions in terms of landing, so no big out of bounds, no falls, obviously. It's a relatively easy place to score well. This is such a close race right now. The details are definitely going to be important for both teams, although they're important all the time, but when it's especially this close, this is less than a tenth we're talking here. So we're really going to want to make everything that we do count for those teams.
We're back with the final event in the season opener. Illinois and Mizzou tangling here in Champaign.
Each gymnast is required to do at least 2 tumbling passes.
We welcome you back. Final rotation at Huff Hall in Champaign, campus of the University of Illinois. It's Illinois and Mizzou. Scott Beatty, Amanda Wihanko. Floor left for Illinois, beam left for Mizzou, and the two teams are separated by less than a full tenth. 3/4 of a tenth of a point. In fact, Illinois with a slight lead. So here we go for Illinois on floor. Amelia Knight, Julia Waite, Mia Takakawa, Tolly Jolson, Mia Towns, and Abby Miller. And on beam for Missouri, Hannah McCrary, Addison Lawrence, Grace Ann Davis, Alyssa Sharameta, Helen Hu, and Sienna Schreiber. We may have, that is going to be Hannah McCrary for beam for Mizzou. So Lana Kratzer. So here we go. Beam is strong for Missouri.
Front aerial, shaky there. Sort of looked like she was going to connect it to something, but maybe not. Looks like she's going into her acro series. Back handspring, out step out. No troubles there. Switch split to, I don't know if that was supposed to be a double stag or a ring jump into a beat jump. But those first two leaps there could have used a bit more extension.
She had a career high on beam in regionals last year. En route to the team's 5th place finish at nationals, but a stumble off the dismount.
She went for the pipe gainer dismount. Was pretty short of that full rotation, so she took a big hop step forward to finish her routine.
So the door a little bit further open for Illinois to take the meet.
Yeah, Mizzou will really want to nail every single thing they can on beam to make up for that, 0.075 difference that they have coming in to this final rotation.
Amelia Knight was on beam and now here on floor.
Good first pass. Her back leg needed to go up more on that second leap there to get that full 180, so it seemed.
From Bristol, United Kingdom.
Double tuck. Nice controlled step back.
Bristol in the southwestern part of England.
1.5 punch front right into that arabesque to finish. To kind of make it easy to minimize those landing deductions by going straight into that arabesque. That was a good lead-off routine for Illinois on floor.
We'll definitely take that in final rotation. Second competitor for Missouri, Addison Lawrence. A true freshman in her collegiate debut. We saw her at the beginning of the meet on uneven bars.
Switch split, split jump. I think she should get her back leg up a little bit more to reach that 180, at least from this angle. It looks that way. Pretty unique acro series aerial Back handspring. Got a few little choreography pieces in here showing off her flexibility. Front aerial, a bit of a balance check on that. Need to and she sticks her dismount. So overall good comeback, second routine for Mizzou after the first one had pretty sizable balance checks.
Hung on to it right there at the end.
Yep.
Addison Lawrence did.
Fighting for every last tenth. She may be a freshman, but she knows what she needs to do.
Julia Waite. First time we've called her name today. Only competed 4 times last year in vault and floor exercise. And her career high is just a 9.625.
Yeah, I believe she exhibitioned on floor a few times last year, so looks like she cracked her way into the lineup, and I see why just based on that first pass. Very nice double pike, very controlled landing, step out of that. 1.5 punch front, right into choreo. Wolf jump into turning leap there. Could use a bit more extension on that second leap.
Senior from Naperville, Illinois. Shout out again.
One more pass for Julia. Double tuck. Very nice.
Big response from the crowd, and now from her team, who will encircle her. Julia Waite.
She's definitely going to have a new career high after this, for sure.
And putting a little more weight on her as well for a big spot in the last rotation.
Yes.
So now back to beam in our final rotation. Third competitor, Grace Ann Davis. She also vaulted today. From Albertville, Alabama. Sophomore. Vault was her routine almost exclusively last year.
Full turn. She's looking very calm on the beam, which is overall good to see. Back handspring. Layout step out. Looks like she was a bit crooked, but was able to adjust that without any balance checks there. Front toss. Did kind of come up on her tiptoes there. Beat jump. Sheep jump. Little balance check there. Switch split, back handspring into the gainer full step, few steps on that dismount there. But overall, I think this is the best beam routine we've seen from Mizzou so far, which is definitely the direction they want to be going in.
Grace Ann Davis, previous career high, 9.725. We'll see if she passes that up. And we continue in a close meet, final rotation. And Mia Takakawa. For Illinois, a 9.8 and a 9.875 so far on floor.
Yeah, that's setting me up for a big score here. A little combo there with her twisting pass right into that split jump. Second pass. Double pike. Looks like her front foot may have come up a little bit on that step, which would mean it's not a controlled landing. But I'm not a judge. They have a much closer view than me. But this is a good routine for Mia so far, definitely. Final pass. 1.5 punch front. Great job from Mia. The Illini have got some great momentum going over here on floor.
Good outing to start 2023 for the first team All Big Ten rep for Illinois last year. And Mia Takakawa going head-to-head with Sienna Schreiber in the all-around. Shara Mehta is up. Alyssa Shara Mehta.
Beat jump. Back handspring, layout step out. Full turn. Front aerial, split jump. Looks like she just has the dismount left. Tuck to gainer. She had a tiny hop back, but that was an excellent routine. And based on the scores that are up, if Gracie Ann Davis before her got a 9.9, then that should get better than a 9.9.
Alyssa Shara Mehta with a really good performance there for Mizzou. And now the one and only competition today for Tali Jolson.
Heading into her very first collegiate routine. Double pike.
Seattle, Washington is her home.
She did shift that front foot a little bit when she took that step back on that first pass, so I don't know what the judges will do with that in terms of if it was a controlled landing or not. But it was definitely a dynamic, powerful first pass.
One of the 4 freshmen to join Illinois for this year.
1.5 front layout, very nice. Thought her layout was very extended and open, which is good. Not so archy as sometimes you may see. One more pass here in her first routine as an Illini. Double tuck. She's all smiles for that collegiate debut. She did a good job.
No fear. Tali Jolson. Two left on each side. And we go to the Chicago native Helen Hu for beam. And she has done really well in this event. She was an All-American last year on beam and also did it in 2020.
Yep, she is known for her beautiful beam. This is definitely her event.
And this is as smooth of an entry as you'll see.
Full Y turn, definitely not something you see a lot in collegiate gymnastics. Front aerial into a Lucan, or at least that's what it has been called before in the code of points, which is front aerial to arabesque. Really showing off her flexibility and lines in this routine. Beat jump. Straddle. Back handspring. Sort of a college stick there with a salute right as she's trying to absorb that dismount there, but really a beautiful routine from Helen.
A lot of grace and power at once from Helen Hu. And for Illinois, now the 5th out of 6, Mia Towns.
First pass. Front 2.5, I want to say. Second pass, 1.5. Front full, very nice. First pass was also probably a double, not a 2.5. My apologies. Could use a bit more height on that straight leg on her turning wolf jump there.
Rocking the 80s.
Yes. Nice extension on that straddle.
Mia Towns. Hyped up after that.
Literally jumping for joy.
So here to beam the final competitor of this day, Sienna Schreiber. All-arounder. A second-team All-American last year on beam. And a postseason All-American as well.
Bit over on that full turn. Back handspring. Layout, step out, layout, step out. First triple series we've seen tonight. Switch split, split jump. Back layout, step out, very difficult. Beat jump into her gainer full dismount, which I believe she's stuck. Didn't get to see her feet from that angle, but didn't see much movement going on there. So an excellent anchor routine for Mizzou.
Well, that is everybody for Mizzou. Sienna Schreiber finishing that off, and the final competitor for a score. A few more exhibitions to come, Abby Miller.
I believe this is Abby's first time as the anchor on floor, so this will be fun to see. Her kind of closing out the meet.
She won floor a couple of times last year.
She did. Double pike. Second pass. Front layout, front full. Very nice. Nice leaps. Gearing up for her last pass. Double tuck.
That got a big response.
Wonderful floor routine.
Finishes it with a kiss. Abby Miller from Rochester, Minnesota. And that's everybody with scores that will count, and we'll await the tabulation while we do some exhibition here to finish out 2023's season opener. This is Casey Pottig.
Back handspring, layout step out.
Illinois' Mia Towns has turned it a 9.90 for floor. And Abby Miller's score to come.
Beat jump.
A couple of 9.95s from Mizzou on beam from Helen Hu and Sienna Schreiber.
Big scores are exactly what they need if they want to close that gap they had coming in. And a very solid exhibition routine here for them to finish out.
I believe Abby Miller is all that is left to be submitted for Illinois. And once her score is in, we'll know the results. The math favors Mizzou right now by less than 2/10. This is a Leah Byrne.
It's actually Rutuja Nataraj.
Well, we had a lineup switch, okay?
Looks like she did a front full, front 1.5. Switch ring. Second pass. Solid exhibition from Rutu. She was a bit short on that final pass, but no major errors other than that. So good experience for her to kick off the season.
Rutuja Nataraj slipping in there in exhibition while we wait the final tabulations. Missouri appears maybe done. Not sure if Illinois is going to throw in one more. All right, the scoreboard says Mizzou is up 196.425 to Illinois' 196.275.
Yeah, it looks like Mizzou really took that beam rotation, and despite, the little bit of a shaky start from Hannah McCrary, was able to put together 5 really excellent scores to close that, just .075 gap that they had coming into this rotation.
So the two teams, Missouri and Illinois, tied on vault, 49.05. Bars went to Illinois, 49.275 to Mizzou's 48.650. But Illinois a 1/10 of a point better on floor, 49.3 to 49.2. But Mizzou very strong on beam, 49.525. And Illinois 48.650. So the strength for Mizzou today, no surprise, was beam, and the strength for Illinois was on vaults, on bars and floor. So each team showing off some strengths today, and off we go, springing into 2023.
Yeah, it was a pretty even matchup for the two to begin, but Mizzou's, they finished on beam, and they did pretty much the best they could with it, having an absolutely phenomenal rotation, nearly a point ahead of Illinois. So Illinois is definitely looking to work on beam as they move forward with the season. And, coming off of last season, they were a bit shaky on beam there as well. So I guess that that didn't necessarily carry over, but it is something to consider. But they didn't have any falls. They didn't count any falls. Abby Miller did fall in that first beam routine, but the rest of the lineup was able to stay on, though they had some pretty sizable balance checks. So kind of just making sure that you are able to solidify yourself on that beam and be steady. And that, that might just come with confidence. That might just come with numbers or pressure sets. But the season's just started. And I think those are 2 great scores for them to start with in terms of team totals.
For our producer and director, Jordan Adams, I'm Scott Beatty. For Amanda Wihanko, we thank you for joining us. Illinois and Missouri. Missouri wins this dual meet, 196.425 to 196.275. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. So long, everybody.